So I think to adequately answer that, it's helpful to kind of understand the scope of attribution and the problem we're trying to solve for advertisers. So basically, as we all kind of know, the last ad model of measurement is flawed. And so in essence, as an attribution provider, what we're trying to help advertisers better understand is what is truly happening within their media mix portfolio. Every client has a slightly different portfolio at work. And the thing to recognize is that if so many tactics are working for a given advertiser, the key with attribution is to understand what's working and what's not working. So with Universal Orlando, essentially that was the whole point. They're trying to drive consumers to their website, and that's referenced by conversion or purchase, online booking essentially. So what they recognize is that there are many tactics in market, many marketing channels in market, and so channels that help to drive an awareness for a specific product may not necessarily be the ones that are ultimately getting credit for the conversion. So to truly understand what that customer's path is and what stimulus is working to drive awareness versus harness the conversion, attribution actually helps them understand that. That's one aspect. And obviously along the way, what you get through that is a lot of clients have limited resources, spend is precious, and so what you end up doing is essentially through attribution helping them figure out where to spend, what to optimize, and how much they can expect through those optimization techniques. Again, for Universal, it was getting clarity around what was working in their media mix portfolio, what tactics were not working or working, ultimately using that to drive deeper optimization within their spend portfolio, and also gaining a much keener understanding of their audience. So one of the benefits of attribution is that the way you conduct the model is from a bottom-up prospect, which essentially allows us to analyze every given user as part of that audience. So you now get to understand what creatives work, what is the optimal placement that works, what's a combination of tactics that work. So if you're armed with that level of insight, in essence what you have the ability to do is drive a much stronger go-to-market strategy. And for Universal, that really was the both short-term and long-term goal. So I think for us, our sort of goal was to replace last ad. I think we've been doing attribution since 2006, believe it or not, and we've always approached it from a model-based system to fractionally attribute credit to where on a given conversion. So ultimately for us, success is defined by a client, understanding what is happening in their portfolio at that fractional level, taking recommendations from an attribution system and actually applying it in market, and being able to reharness sort of that wasted spend. Because the benefits of attribution, once you put it in market, are really translate to media efficiency. Either you're reharnessing that wasted spend, or you're driving a greater number of conversions, and also a keener understanding of the audience. So the whole notion of cross-channel campaign planning, you can actually realize that with attribution at your core, because now you have an engine that is essentially telling you where to buy, what to buy, and who to reach as your target customer. So for us, it's a bit of a journey. Attribution is not a single project, it's a process. And what we try to get our customers to do is take in small, bite-sized chunks, get incremental wins, build some momentum around attribution for the organization. It's a hard thing to swallow if you think about it. A lot of organizations today, even though they say they have last ad, actually don't have true cross-channel last ad metrics. The last ad metric is measured in a silo. So display is measuring one thing, search is measuring another, email is measuring another. So even the first benefit is just getting to look at all these channels in an integrated fashion is a big change for an organization. Which is why we try not to boil the ocean in one sitting, so to speak, but we try to get incremental wins, show the benefit of display and search, and use that as a momentum to kind of build sort of a larger story around how the enterprise might adopt attribution. So we have a number of customers actually that have been with us for 4+ years that have actually abandoned last ad as a measurement and have now adopted attribution as the currency of measurement within the organization. I think the key comes down to recognizing attribution actually is an instrument of change, right? So last click's been done for years and years, and so back to my earlier example, it's really an organizational change. So you do need an executive sponsor, you do need a flag bearer. The technology is one part of the equation, and we'll bring that to the table. But harnessing your data is the other part of it, because often a lot of organizations don't really know where a lot of the data is. Data is owned by different parties within the organization. So if you truly want to move towards an attribution system that is holistic and enterprise-wide, you do need a champion for the project, because that champion not only helps you kind of break down some of those barriers, but it also addresses things like compensation, you're not going to be comped on last ad, but rather on a synergy. So how much of a role did you play in driving conversion activity from one business unit to another, or from one product line to another product line, or from display to search? It's a different way of thinking, right? So as a technology provider, we can help solve that from a mathematical basis, from a measurement basis, from an optimization basis, but a lot of that change management really requires a champion internally to push it forward. So if you look at all of our clients who've been successful over the last 4 years adopting this, Vanguard, American Express, and a number of others, the key aspect of success there was always that flag bearer and champion within the organization that was able to carry that through. So we pride ourselves on being thought leaders in the space. Like I mentioned earlier, we've been doing this since 2006. So we've always thought about the problem really beyond a measurement problem. And so, the measurement part is a big challenging part, of course, but really comes down to how do you make it actionable, right? If I could show you what the interaction was between display and search, fantastic, good new step. But what is the next logical step? The next logical step really comes down to taking some of those actions out of the platform and putting it back into market and looking at the impact of your spend, right? Looking at the impact on your portfolio, looking at the impact on conversions. Just going back to the earlier point, if you want to look at sort of thought leadership articles, our website, visualiq.com, has a ton of those things. But the other thing that we're really excited about is, lately you've started to hear this whole notion of true cross-channel campaign planning or omni-channel marketing. We strongly believe that attribution has to sit at the core of that vision, partially because of how you look at attribution. Because attribution is, on a digital side, is actually driven by what we call bottom-up. It's a user-driven model, right? Or rather, it's based on the user's behavior. So what that means is, for every given user, I'm figuring out essentially what's the optimal creative, what's the optimal message, what's the optimal offer, what's the optimal channel mix. And that, in essence, those kind of questions essentially are what the omni-channel marketing quandaries, or vision rather, is all about. And how we're thinking about the product is really taking that direction, finding ways for marketers to enable that vision.